What is going on, my people? Louie C. the Mayor. Let me tell you, we're getting ready for New Year's Eve. This is the biggest New Year's Eve ever. A lot of stuff going on. And today we're going to get to the meats and potatoes really going on because there's a lot of misinformation. So we brought a guest out here. Going to let you know what's really going on. Make sure you're in compliance. I's are going to be triple dotted. T's going to be triple crossed. This lady been doing it for a long time. Shout out to FloridaKeysEnergy.com. Accident lawyers in the Keys. If you have an accident, a car, moped, bicycle, or God forbid on that ocean, it's real simple. These local boys will take care of you. FloridaKeysEnergy.com at 302 Southern Street. Locals taking care of locals. Dr. B, tomorrow we got more guests coming in. Mike, I'm glad you brought these couches in and stuff because, you know, we ain't got enough people. It turned into, I feel like we at the studio with the entertainment, a lot of people coming in. And you told me that you need backup because these comments on Fridays is off the chamber or whatever.
Yep.
So Christina Burrell's been coming in. She's been bringing her people. So it's all love at Advanced Urgent Care, Key West Marathon, and Key Largo. Those people over there test, but they don't wait. They test and treat immediately. You should not be waiting on any type of treatment anywhere. If your doctor won't prescribe ivermectin, then get one that does. And we have a story for that today, which is very interesting. And also, some of y'all, I keep telling y'all, man, leave that smoking at the house, but y'all don't. You don't understand that the Surgeon General warns smoking is bad for your health and could possibly cause cancer. So the only alternative I got, I don't smoke nothing, is to go to Naughty Vapes across the street from the fire department, get you one of them little vapes, and you'll be off that smoking. And it's a better alternative. Always taking care of locals and military with a 10% discount. Huge inventory just came in. And make sure you like their page under Naughty Vapes on Facebook. Hit the notification button right over here. Boop! And those are all watching worldwide on YouTube. There's a little subscribe button. Hit that button right over here. Boop! And now I'd like to welcome to the show straight out of spring training. But this ain't the spring training when they throw the baseball. It's a whole different spring training. Miss Spring Rice been in the game for a long time. She's going to tell you what she's doing to make sure restaurants and bars are the safest in the world. And if you have any questions, this will be the time to come on in. Miss Spring Rice in the building, doing it big. How you doing, young lady?
I'm doing great, Louie. Thank you so much. I taught a food manager training class all day today, and I could not wait to get here to do the podcast with you tonight.
Nice.
I was so excited. So it's really good to be here, and thank you for having me as a returning guest on your show.
All love. And I got to tell you, it's a lot of stuff going on, and I think this is, they put a lot on your plate because you already was busy, but with this pandemic situation, it's a lot of stuff. Every day there's something that come out. Fortunately, though, it looks like we're going to be out of a situation here real soon, so everything is positive. So I'd like to start the show here. Let's talk about, let me get a couple of these things here going. Shout out to Vanilla Ice in the city today. That's why there was traffic backed up filming a video. Shout out for Nana Music, Ruben Martinez, getting me good to go, good contact with them people. Anytime celebrities come to here, when they're in the county, we got DJ Laz down there with Pitbull. We could pick these people up. Every license plate scan, so we got to give them a card. So don't forget to check in with the mayor's office when you come. We're in Dade County no more. So them people checked in. It was all love. And I appreciate you. Like I said, Ruben Martinez from Nene Music doing big things. So thank you so much. So let me see what else we got. Oh, Michael Knowles doing it big. So we got a GoFundMe for Mr. Michael Knowles. Michael Knowles does production with us over here. Been with us for a long time. And Dr. Burroughs has set up a GoFundMe account for him to get surgery for his eyes for cataracts. So if you go to my page under Louie C. Rock and you go to the GoFundMe, you'll find it there. We almost reached our goal in one day. So thank you, and Merry Christmas to Michael, his family, and everybody watching here. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So,
special.
Yep.
Very special.
Who is Michael Knowles? So I'm trying to see if Spring popped up in here. I don't know why she's not popped up yet. You popped up all the way live, right? Michael?
Yeah.
So she ain't coming on her side, but no big deal. We'll figure it out. So let me ask you something, Spring. So you actually just told me off camera. I didn't know this. We don't really do a script. There ain't no teleprompter out here. We do it blood raw around here. So shout out to everybody watching. Ralph Campbell, doing it big. Thank you for checking in straight from Fort Lauderdale. So let me ask you this. So you had a personal friend who had a situation with COVID that dealt with the ivermectin. So can you tell them the story from the beginning to these people over here watching, please?
I sure will. In fact, I hope she's watching right now. My longtime dear friend, Sherry Coble. She, many of you may watching remember her name. Sherry used to be a full-time resident here in Key West. She's a former alcoholic beverages and tobacco agent. That's when I first met her years ago. She was here in Key West and worked along with Dave Banks here.
Dave Banks, a living legend.
Yes, absolutely.
Where's
Shout out
that
to
boy?
Dave. He's still here. He's doing well.
He's laying low.
Yeah, he
must
is.
Be out there eating chicken.
He is.
Yeah, he's a funny individual.
So I know he watches.
You know, I learned a lot of
over me,
beverage law from Dave Banks, so I could be in compliance along with you.
So did I.
The man was very fair, very
taught
fair.
Me what I know.
Very fair. And he wasn't with foolishness. He tell you black and white.
He, absolutely, very.
Ron Bailey checking in. All love, Mike Hart. Merry Christmas, Louie C. Rock. That Red Tater, there he is. Red Tater. This gentleman. We had to put a protocol on him. Security. You know what happened?
Oh, okay.
He just busted into a podcast one day out of the blue. Straight in, like right now, we're in the podcast. So then,
okay.
He's been a fan ever since. We sat him right there and we kept it moving. Mike, don't sweat it if you can't get it. Just go back. Let me see something. It ain't popping up. Oh, you got it?
But it's not let me do it because it's something.
Mark trying to, you could control phones, but it's all good. So, okay, so what happened
Sherry,
with the story?
I hope she's watching, and she has become one of my longtime dear friends. She's moved away. She lives over in the Sarasota area, and unfortunately, she contracted COVID. And her primary care physician would not prescribe the ivermectin, and she is a big fan of you and Dr. Burrows. Every Friday, she's tuning in and watching, and so on. Yeah, and she knew that if she even said to me, if I get sick, I'm gonna contact or I want ivermectin. Well, her primary care physician would not prescribe it for her. So she got on the phone to Dr. Burrows' office down here in Key West and explained, who she was, and she was sick and she wanted this. And she got up, I believe it was 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning, and he arranged for her to get the medicine, the ivermectin, out of Key Largo. She came down to his location in Key Largo, and she said she was, very well treated. She felt really, thankful when she got there, and she got the medicine, and she's doing really well. And she said immediately, she was feeling better, and she said he probably saved my life. So,
okay.
Yeah, and she told me if I get it to go see Dr. Burrows. So
let me keep it blood raw with y'all. And Mike Knowles, stand by. So when did you tell me about this? About this ivermectin sort of.
About 5 minutes before we came on the air.
Some of
I
y'all
told
might
you the
think
story.
that this is script. This ain't no script. There ain't no
Not at
teleprompter. I don't even think Dr. Burrows know about it because he gave the ivermectin. So I'm telling you, and it's not the hospital's fault. I've been trying to get a call down there to get a clarification that we have ivermectin at the hospital. But since me, Mike Knowles, and the whole crew on our 18-hour very light sleep, haven't been able to take care of that, but I will. So that is an absolute great story, because if you go anywhere and they're testing and waiting, they could possibly cause you not to make it out of any hospital or any type of facility that you're in. So you really need to know what you're talking about, and you might have to look. This lady drove all the way. You said she had to drive. How long?
She drove herself, obviously. But she was sick, but she made it. She drove herself all the way from the Sarasota area.
From Sarasota. Shout out to Sarasota.
They had it all ready. They obviously knew that she had COVID, and they had it all arranged, to keep her, separated from other patients and things like that, and gave her the red carpet treatment to get her in there and get her what she needed. And she couldn't get the ivermectin from her physician.
Ivermectin, if you don't know, I don't care if you're in Kentucky. Let me tell you something. Real one simple word, ivermectin. Look it up. Don't take our word for us. And any doctor that you have, if you have a situation and they refuse to prescribe ivermectin, this is my opinion, solely my opinion, you need to switch doctors immediately. If you don't see him again, he get mad. That's all right. Save lives, because you cannot test and wait. That waiting is over with. So let's get down to the business of restaurant and bars. Who is Michael Knowles? Before we go in, what you got on that side? I got Kendra Sue. So this young lady is in the service industry.
Okay.
Can't wait to be home. Again, Kendra, it'll be in your best interest to listen to this whole thing from top to bottom. If you got Netflix on, it'll be in your best interest to mute that and listen, because you're about to learn something today. Mickey Margaret with the Florida State Seminole says, "Hey guys, Merry Christmas." I ain't even gonna talk about the hurricanes against you, because we doing bad, all the way bad across the board. James Hale, Red Tater, Dr. B is all about saving lives, period. That's what I'm talking about. Love you, Louie. I'm here. Okay, you're here where? In the podcast, or you're in Key West? Who is Mike Knowles?
Okay, we got Joe Mastermind.
Ooh, You know what he said? You know what Joe Mastermind said? When they kept having people, talking about different curfews and all that, you know what he did? It's the best thing I seen. He gave him his PayPal account. Here's my PayPal account. He said, nobody sent him anything yet. Okay. So I think that was a good strategy when they said, "Hey, we go," and he just kept writing his PayPal account.
Okay.
Because a lot of industry people, lost a lot of money this year. We're gonna go into that. What you got, Mike Knowles?
Kendra Sue Cross. We got Ron Bailey.
Yep.
Jared Frank.
Okay.
Thank you for tuning in.
Gino Gotti. Yep. I'm sorry about that. Gino Gotti. Jane Roman. Carlos Gonzalez. Boy, you got a lot in here.
Yeah, that's why we got let's get do the Fast and Furious with
that's
them.
it.
That's everybody?
Fantastic.
Okay. All love right now. Notification button right over here. Woo!
I forgot Donnie Lee.
Donnie Lee. Listen, Donnie Lee, the #1 chief in America. I tried to talk to Donnie for running for mayor. Application was declined. But however, Mr. Lee is going to be most likely running for Mr. Commissioner Warlow's seat when Warlow is termed out. So we're going to get 7 up there, and we only need 4. So, a lot of people got voted out. We still ain't done with that. So shout out to Donnie Lee. When you be a police chief for 10 years in the city, you did a great job.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of pulling and tucking going on. So Spring, are all restaurants and bars safe in Key West and in the Florida Keys, as far as people are worried of when they go to eat, but there's a lot of misinformation. So can you tell them basically what you do to keep these restaurant bars not only in compliance but safe, so people are not scared to go in them?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, training, I believe, is the best defense. Places, to educate your employees to know, what the right things, what they can and can't do, and prevention is the best measure. It just is. Don't wait for a problem to happen. Be ready to go. Be trained. Be armed. Be ready to go. And that's everything from serving alcohol responsibly to serving food in a safe manner. And even knowing, in times as we've seen this year, if there is a COVID outbreak in your establishment, how to handle that. So it's don't wait for the crisis to happen. Be ready and put that plan into place. So what
Awesome.
I do is I teach from a prevention side so that they have the tools they need to properly run their business.
And you have a protocol for COVID that's added to your training now, right?
I do. I actually added it in. I added it into the online training. There is a segment there. And a lot of my clients have still asked me to come on site to do the classes. And we've been doing it right on site for, the staff. And it's very well received, I believe. And I think it's really made a difference. And people will tell me after the class, thank you for being here. We have learned so much. And I really do think that it's making a difference. And I know, consumers would want to go to a place that they know that the industry workers are trained, they're doing it the right way, and they're not going to make them sick. So,
how many clients do you have in the Florida Keys, roughly a ballpark?
Well, alcohol compliance and food safety, I call those my full service clients because they do training on a regular basis. I would say to date I probably have 77 of those accounts.
Okay.
In addition to that, though, I do a lot of licensing, an alcoholic beverage license, a food license, and I can't even put a number on that. I'm getting phone calls.
So you have roughly 77 accounts.
Yes.
Right. So what would
full service accounts? Yes.
What would you say to a person that's going to ask you and say, well, I'm not sure if it's safe to go into restaurants period. And I live in Key West, and how safe are these restaurants? And obviously, you can only speak for accounts that you have. How are these people doing? Are people really paying attention? Because I want people to feel safe, because we go in 2021, we're going to be in good situation with the vaccine and the whole 9 yards. But there still might be people, and you can't blame them, that are a little bit timid to go inside or whatever.
Sure.
But I was telling you about a report that I seen that basically is now saying that it's really safe on there, that I seen from the governor's office. But what would you tell these people to do?
I would go to the restaurants, and absolutely into bars and restaurants and hotels. I would definitely seek out those locations, and a lot of them do post their training. Part of their alcohol compliance training, they have to post certain signage that I provide for them. They have to post that they've been trained. The food handler and the food manager training, they have to have their certificates and available when the health inspector comes in. And so, go to places that have training and have proper training. And I just want to give a shout out to all of my spring training clients out there who do put their faith and trust in me and do the program, and they are doing it right. They really are. And it's that commitment to service, and go to a place that has proper training and does it by the book, and you will have no problems. You will be safe. Nice.
Stand by Michael Knowles. I got Mikey's Story, the #1 conch in America, doing it big. Tangela Edwards. Hi, Louie, everyone. JC Key West is watching, a fan of the show. All good. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Jack is watching. Marla Knowles, all love.
That's my aunt.
That's your aunt?
Yeah.
Okay. How you doing, Marla? Can you read that, Spring?
Put those glasses on.
Yeah, so you got a question right there.
Okay. What is the #1 liability risk to bar owners, and what do you recommend for it? Wow, great question. Okay, with the #1 liability risk, it depends. And let's just talk first about alcohol compliance. I think #1, they have to have a license, and I do help them get their license. But with that, once they have that license, it can easily be suspended or revoked. So again, the training that I provide keeps them in compliance, but also teaches the employees what they need to know to be responsible in their serving practices. And it's about, we're in the business to sell and serve food and alcohol, but it's doing it responsibly, the responsible service. So I think that is, one of the big things, if you have an alcoholic beverage license, that, someone consumes too much alcohol, or they've already been drinking somewhere else that they were overserved, and they come onto the premises of another establishment, and then, are they responding appropriately and handling that situation correctly?
Right.
And otherwise, that person could leave and get into an accident. So we train at spring training, I train the servers that they know exactly how to handle those situations.
Absolutely.
And to prevent that. It's all preventative measures, training. So if you're asking me what do they need to do, they need to do training. So
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Mike Knowles.
All right, we got Vic Freeze. We got James Jesus Romero, and he says he says got to support our service industry.
Over tip. The new tip now is 30%. Tip 30% now, especially with these people been through.
Esther Gibb.
Esther Gibb don't miss a show. She out here every day doing it big.
Kendra Sue Krause said, thank you for what you're doing, helping train our industry properly and allow businesses to stay open without occupancy restriction.
Every bartender should have alcohol compliance training. Love it. Is that the last one, Mike?
That's great.
No, Mike Bayford is.
Okay. Hey, Mike, how you doing? So what happens here is that basically, I'm going to have to ask you this question, and this is going to be real serious. We keep it blood raw around here. So my question, I just want to know, the blood raw answer is, have you been contacted by anybody to be on any committee so you could tell these people what is really going on and what training you are giving forward to your clients based on COVID from anything in the city or county?
Have they contacted me,
Yeah,
city or the
spring
county?
training to be on any committee that basically is looking into COVID and how to get safety measures in place and have. It's either yes you have it, no you don't.
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
And I will say, and I just want to put that out there, that I have offered my training services free of charge to the city, that I would train and even it goes beyond the service industry. You know, you could go into, let's just say, a post office or the bank or something, you know, and with all the protocol going out there, washing your hands, and a big thing is the mask wearing, and I'm seeing more and more people that grab their masks here.
Can you tell people the proper way to wear a mask?
Exactly,
please?
and to handle those, and it's just all part of it. And I have offered, you know, my free training services for a mini session on this, and they haven't taken me up on that.
Okay.
And if it would keep these places open, which I believe it would definitely help, I wish I could provide.
Michael knows, correct me if I'm wrong.
job.
If you have experts, you know, there's people that do different jobs, you know, like for example, in my job, they ask me about engineering. I know a couple things about it, but I send them to the engineer. They ask me a question about something I have not that knowledge on. I get one of my people who has the knowledge. So here lays the problem when we have qualified people with information that are dealing with exactly they could ask you a simple question: what exactly protocols do you have, you know, for COVID-19? And then you could tell them the whole thing from top to bottom, because I don't think they know that question. So I'm going to make a motion right now. Mike, if you want a second, let me go down the line. Commissioner Wardlow, Commissioner Davila, let me see, Mary Lou Hoover. Anybody out there on the diocese, can you please reach out to Spring and Spring Train and put it on one of these committees, because she should have been there from day one. We already took her because basically, you know, she needs to belong on there. You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff, but we got to get the right people. Like, for example, I'm going to give you an example. If I was mayor, the first thing, and I come from a marketing background, I would have a press conference from day one, just like they did in the White House. Day one, I'm putting a task force. Boom, this is what's going on. Comcast, there's no way, because you get information out one shot. Now we're almost to the end of this or whatever, but you know, we might have, who knows, another pandemic could come out. We need to be prepared. So I'm hoping somebody calls you and makes something happen, because that'll make me happy. Also, Commissioner Lopez, Commissioner Kaufman, this for you. APB Commissioner Kaufman is right up here. I'm signaling this pass to you, because you making some things happen. Put this girl immediately on whatever committee.
I would really, really like to be part of that and be part of the solution. And Louie, if I can give an example of my own personal experience, and again, a shout out to all my clients out there and the trainees that are in these classes. They really take their job seriously. And I am so proud to say that I have a company here in Key West, and that they are attending my training sessions, because they really do take their job seriously and they do the right thing. And, you know, I'll go into a business that's not a client, you know, that I haven't trained, or they don't have, you know, training in place. And it happened, this particular one happened to be a restaurant, but it definitely wasn't my client. And I went in to get a cup of coffee. And it was 10 o'clock in the morning. Had nothing to do later on in the evening, or, you know, late at night or anything like that. This was 10 o'clock in the morning. I was waiting in line to get a cup of coffee. And the server was there. She had her mask on, and she has the food service gloves on. And if these gloves are not used properly, they contaminate everything. And again, that's why we have training. We talk about this. And she obviously did not have her training. And she kept touching her mask and adjusting it and touching her mouth. And she was helping the gentleman in front of me, and she had made him a sandwich, and she was handling his money and had those gloves on, and she rang the sale up in the register, which at that point is still okay. But what she did wrong at that point, she needed to take her gloves off, properly wash her hands, and then go to the next customer. Instead, she said, just a minute. She went to the back area where I could see her, and she started cracking raw eggs back there and was stirring them around. Same gloves on that she had handled the money. She walked back out, and the counter that she had made the sandwich, she took those gloves and actually wiped the crumbs off with these gloves. She then came to me, went just like this, and asked if she could take my order. And I told her no, that, you know, this isn't about COVID at this point. She needs to wash her hands. And she took her gloves off, and she grabbed the hand sanitizer and put hand sanitizer on. And I said, no, you need to go back and wash your hands. And she stormed to the back room. She wasn't back there probably 2 seconds, enough to grab paper towel, and she walked back out like she was drying her hands. And the time and the energy that took, she could have properly washed her hands. And again, it was someone definitely that I had not trained one of my establishments, because they take their jobs professional. And this is just an example of where training is so important. So important.
And I'm gonna say this, so this is what courage is all about. So she didn't have to tell the girl anything that's not one of her accounts, but she's trying to help the situation, and maybe not have people spread COVID, because that's a bad spread of COVID. You spread all kinds of stuff there.
Exactly.
It's all
and
bad.
Again, her hands were up to her mouth and touching food and food equipment, and this is how people are definitely getting sick. I mean, that right there was spreading major germs, and it had the potential.
So she had the courage to say something, and the girl didn't find that very good on her part, as far as a stranger telling her, but she's doing that out of kindness of her heart. So this is what we need to do.
In a formal setting, it maybe would have been much more well received. And again, it's for the service workers, their safety, but also the safety of the establishment and of the customers.
So my point is that if you see something, whether you sit on the diocese, that you believe is wrong, an injustice, or just a plan that's not going to work, you got to go ahead and you got to talk. And then you might have to go up a couple notches. You might have to scream, but stand up when you see stuff like this, because she might have saved a whole bunch of people, and that person should have took up the knowledge. But it is what it is. I'm glad that you did that. So
food handler training and food manager training is mandatory in Florida too. And in my classes, I make sure that it's not just about getting the certificate and putting your award on the wall. It's about actually learning the information and applying it to the job that they're doing. And
we're going to get to a lot of solid information here. So I'm going to have you start from over here. You got some more people go from Mike's story. Michael Knowles, stand by. Can you see
which
that?
One, Mike, sorry, the city official. Oh, that one. Okay. Oh, I see. Glad to see someone is making sure we are all safe. We need more professionals like her in the city. Thank you.
And then he continues.
Thank you so much. That was a very, very nice compliment. The city officials needs to take advantage of her services. It would be a smart choice. Thank you for the compliment. I greatly appreciate that.
We got a second and a third Mike's story.
Thank you. Very kind. Thank you.
LaDonna is watching. Let's see what Red Tater talking about over here.
Let's see. Either they are too arrogant or they have a separate agenda. Not calling on Dr. B or Spring training for expertise is unforgivable.
Okay, so now we, for the record, once again, we state that, I don't know, this is simple. This ain't the calculus math. This is the simple consumer. Put this lady on a committee, or would I be okay if I'm not on a committee? I'm fine with that, but people that basically are in the trenches every day, especially giving you the details, we should have had this from day one. Sure. So let me ask you, what courses do you offer for the service industry in general? Do you have like specific courses? Can you just talk a little bit about courses?
I do, sure. In fact, I see a question come up there from James right there. He said Serve Safe training, and I want to talk about that. That's one of the training programs. First of all, Serve Safe is one of the 4 acceptable food manager certifications in the state of Florida. And that is one of the certifications that I provide, is the food manager certification. And if someone says that you have to have your Serve Safe, that's just one brand of the food manager certification. Today I did a food manager class. I hold them right here in Key West once a month, the food manager certification, also once a month in Marathon. And if anyone needs private classes and exams, I can proctor those as well. So that's one entity. In the Florida statute, if you are licensed by Division of Hotels and Restaurants, 4 or more employees, every manager supervisor must have their food manager certification. So you don't have to drive to Miami, you don't have to drive up to South Florida. I hold local classes right here in Key West and in Marathon. With that, in 2001, Florida was the first state to make food handler training, employee food handler training mandatory also. within 60 days of a person's hire date, a food service worker, all food service workers from bussers, hostesses, prep cooks, bartenders, servers, they all have to have their food handler certification. And I also provide that training for my clients also.
Gotcha.
In addition, there's more, the alcohol compliance training. And that is the responsible service of alcohol, proper checking IDs, what the laws say, as far as, we started talking about tobacco in the beginning there. You now have to be 21 years of age to purchase or possess tobacco products. It used to be age 18. It's now 21, same as alcohol, 21 years of age to purchase, possess, or consume alcohol. Illegal for anyone else to purchase, pour, or share alcohol with an underage person. I teach all of that in my classes, and then participants also get a chance. We customize it to each of their locations, because a bar might be different than training at a hotel and how to handle their specific situations.
Right. An interesting fact too is you have to be 21 to drink, but you still can be 18 to serve.
Yes.
Isn't that
State law
something?
only requires you to be 18 to be a server of alcohol, to be behind the bar. Some companies will make it a house policy that they still want their
21.
servers, their bartenders to be 21 and over, and that's okay, but only 18 is state law.
If you like spring right here, what you seeing, we want y'all to go all the way up right now, throw the hearts all the way up on the podcast. Make sure you hit notification button right over here. Boop! And those of y'all watching worldwide on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button right over here. Boop! But here's the thing that's very interesting, and we didn't talk about this. So, as you know, it's been very dangerous out there with terrorist attack and people coming in
Yes.
and shooting up all types of stuff. So that's very dangerous. However, I think that there's one law that's outdated. Me and you had a chance to talk about this, which is the law about you cannot have a firearm on premises if you hold alcohol beverage license. Right now, it's still in the books like that, right?
Right. Well, and I know too that there is, for example, the concealed weapons permit. Right. Exactly. So when they take their concealed weapons course, they're supposed to know which establishments that they can go into.
Right.
And
I'm
so
talking
on,
about
exactly.
ownership and staff is not allowed to have on premise.
Right.
Anytime, even if you have
Right.
concealed, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Still?
Yes. To my
Okay.
knowledge,
So-
that has not changed. That's a really old law
Yeah,
that we're going back
I think
to.
it's I think it's outdated. Let me tell you why. So basically, you have protocols, for security at different establishments, and you have events that are thousands of people. So let's talk specifically about a licensed premise.
Okay.
So you have a licensed premises, and God forbid somebody goes in there with an AK-47 and just start shooting people off, like we've seen, many times, one by one. I believe that this law should be changed now to allow either the MOD or somebody to have a gun secured at least in the office or something, because if that person is not able to be dealt with somebody that has a firearm right away, then you don't give nobody a chance, because it might take the police 2 minutes to respond or a minute. But if you had something and you had a code for that in your security measures, so I wonder if anybody even talked about this in any of your circles up there with all your colleagues and stuff.
Gosh, Louie, that is one, I'm just going to say it the way it is. I have not discussed that in a really long time with anybody.
Right.
You bring up a really good point. And, I've been doing this a long time and in the business, but I certainly don't know everything. So, and actually this would be one of the things on staff at spring training, is former Lieutenant John Zabo. He was a former, he was helping Dave Banks here in Key West for many years, and that's when I met him. And John was with the division for over 30 years out of Daytona. 2 years ago, he retired out, and he is now consulting full-time with me at spring training. And
nice conversation.
this would be a great conversation to have, because if there's something that I can't answer, I'm not going to give the misinformation.
I think that law is outdated based on where we at when we see that.
Right,
Because
he
one
probably
person
has an update for us, and I just can't answer that without
awesome.
consulting with him to make sure. I just don't want to give any misinformation on that, but to my knowledge, that law has not been changed. If it's different, I'll give you an update on that you can present to everybody.
On behalf of the Olympics accepting breakdancing as a sport in 2024. I got this hat right here. Red Tater, this for you.
I think it's great.
Let me see. Red Tater, what you know about that? Can you tell me what that means right there? This is the School of Hard Knocks. Okay, so I've been watching B Street, Breaking, the whole night, Flashdance 78. So this is exciting. Now, you guys could joke around, oh, they're going to bring the cardboard back and he, ha. Well, you ain't been to the struggle. It took all the way from this time. It's 78. We're in 2021 for this to get an Olympic. We paid our dues, so just put respect on breakdancing name, because unfortunately people still don't give the respect to the hip hop culture. But I love all types of music. But I'm very happy and excited because I seen today, Mike, I forgot to tell you, a video, a guy was doing like full throttle head spins, like 500 at one shot. This is incredible what they do. Pull up on YouTube and you'll see the new break that's going on. This is why it's a sport. So stand by, Mike Knowles. Let me see who we got. Oh, so we got Pamela checking in. Oh, you actually went up in temperature, 25. Mandatory for food service. JJ says, Orient was good, sir. Pulse shooting should change a bit of club law. So it would have been not only Pulse, I think that was in Orlando. Yeah, it's been a whole bunch of stuff, but we ain't updated this particular law. I mean, I guess that, does that come out of a law that comes out of Tallahassee? How do they change it?
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into that. It really does. Yeah. I will say this. I know some of my clients, shout out to Mark Rossi, Rick's Entertainment Complex there. They put all of their security personnel, they do a special weapons training for them. They do weapons screening for them to make sure that no one's coming in with weapons. I did training for another. Do
you do that, or that's somebody else?
I don't personally do that,
gotcha.
But I can certainly. I have actually, I do have some people that would provide the training that I would contract with, and because some of my clients have approached me for that, but I personally don't do that. I would want an expert.
Enough security.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I teach a lot though in my classes, knowing who's in your facility and asking questions. If someone, is in the back room checking out your galley area there and you don't know who they are, don't be afraid to ask questions. Or maybe you terminated someone and have good communication with the other managers. Maybe there's a disgruntled employee, and having that good communication of what took place and what to watch for and so on. And safety and security is really a big part of that.
Let me ask you a question, because I asked a question to somebody about this as far as the security situation. So let's say, how would you handle this? So let's say there's a person in the bar that is basically causing an issue. Okay. And then the security politely said, sir, we're going to ask you to come outside because we need you to go ahead and leave the premises because you're causing a disturbance. So let's say the person just says, you're just not going to do it. I'm not going anywhere. I don't give a damn. What's happening? How should that be handled? Okay.
Well, first of all, knowing their job, knowing their positions and what the laws say, again, training up front. And there is actually a Florida statute 56251 that says you have the right to refuse service and eject anyone from your premise that you find undesirable or objectionable, as long as you're not discriminating race, religion, sex, national origin, disability. So I always like to
what's
say,
that statute?
56251.
Okay.
So I like to say, first of all, always a hands-off approach. That is definitely the best approach. And when they take it off, the blame off of themselves, when they say, I need you to leave, okay, you're making it personal. The law says, the Florida statute requires me to ask you to leave. Our company policy prohibits me from serving you any more alcohol at this time. Come back and see us another time. At this time, our company policy, under the company policy, we need you to leave. So take the blame off of that person to really try to de-escalate it. When they say, I'm not serving you any more alcohol, or I'm making you leave, that
don't be combative.
Exactly. Okay. So that really does help. There's a method that we use called the broken record method, and that is just repeat, repeat, repeat. Ma'am, we need you to leave the premises. You're welcome to come back tomorrow. Ma'am, I'm sorry, we can't serve you any more alcohol at this time. We need you to leave the premises. Come back and see us another time.
Right. Keep at it.
Right. Exactly. Sir, we're not able to, provide you any alcohol at this time. you don't have your ID, I'm not able, we're not able to let you in per our company policy. Come back another time with your ID, but repeat
Now,
the broken record. It really does help de-escalate situations.
So I'm going to tell you, now we're going to raise this call to a different level,
Okay.
right? And then I'm going to tell you,
I'm ready.
I'm going to tell you how I would instruct security to deal with
Okay.
this. So once we exhausted this and the person's just not leaving, we don't want to put hands on nobody,
Right.
because basically, it's not the country western bar back in the day. They pick you up, throw you head first. It's a lot of liability. People think this is a game with. So definitely don't put hands on. Now, what you do is you go ahead, and usually we have a lot of good Key West PD enforcement on the street. So all you have to do, because you don't get paid enough money to try to get somebody out, break a leg or whatever, hurt somebody. It's a whole problem. So then, for example, once you have you just have the security around that gentleman or lady with the supervisor, whoever's the head of security, or the MOD or whatever, and just be very, very calm, because even that presence might get them to leave. If you have a couple people around you, say, "Well, I better get out of here," that might change. So what happens is you get law enforcement involved, and you said, "I need the person in the blue shirt to be escorted out of the bar, please." So then, when they tell the law enforcement, "I ain't going nowhere, I don't give a damn," that's going to be a whole different issue, and then you just back up.
Right.
Also, if the person, like you said, had an issue with the individual that's working at the bar, and you continue to agitate the situation, and you walk to the front, and then he calling you a name, and then it's human nature, and then you still scream at it. You need to go back inside, because the other guy's a good cop. You're the bad cop at that point or whatever, because the person is agitated with you. If he can't see you and he can't talk to you, he can't scream out, that diffuses the situation.
Right,
Did I miss
exactly.
anything?
No, I think you said that very well. And, we are really fortunate. We have great officers here. In fact, they've even taught me a lot over the years. I ask them, how should my clients handle situations and things like that. And, again, I think they do a great job. And, if you're opening an establishment, that's one thing, talk to the police and how do they want you to handle it, and, make them a partner in this. And,
work together.
It's teamwork, and they do a great job with that. And, and again, it's that training up front, but being prepared, not when it happens, it's like, oh no, what do we do? It's you're ready to handle that situation.
All love right now, and nothing but love coming in here. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. So right now, I want to do a favorite bar roll call. What is your favorite bar throughout the Keys from A to Z? And then I like Spring to basically mention some of our clients that she already had on the books, and it's not in any particular order. Because I know you have clients that you have for a long time. So roll call right now. What's your favorite bar in the Keys? Let it be known right now, because we got a lot of, due to contrary belief, a whole bunch of people coming down here. Some ain't never been out here. And reports are now saying that for New Year's Eve, we had some cancellations, but now some hotels are back to full. So we're going to get into that in a second. So what kind of bars you want to shout out?
I can't wait to see what they write and so on. Gosh, I've really had some long time accounts, and then when I got back into the business, they just right away came back with me. So of course, Mark Rossi with Rick's, and his
one time 200 block. I call Mark Rossi the boss of all bosses. 37 years.
Yes.
Boss of all bosses.
Yes.
There you go. Throw the hearts up. Tell me what bar you want.
There
Who else you got?
The Hogs Breath Saloon again.
Hogs
Breath.
Ooh,
They came
legendary.
right back. Absolutely. Do such a great job. And it's,
Hogs Breath is
so
better
nice
than
to see
no
them.
breath at all. So that's a good one statement there for the Hogs Breath.
Exactly. I know that they recently lost one of their team members too. Passed away, and that affects me too, because these places, they're family. They work hard together. That's their extended families, and at the same time, I've trained them, and I remember them being in my classes, and it affects all of us, but they do a really good job there. And
so give me a couple, three off the top of your dome.
He's been around, but a more newer establishment here. But over on Southern Street is Heroes. In fact, it sure is. Jason Dorelli. In fact, I hope Jason is watching here tonight. So he's doing it right too. I originally met Jason when I did his alcoholic beverage license. We got him a quota license to go into that establishment, and then from there, doing all of his alcohol compliance training. And his establishment is one of those perfect examples where he was closed during He was closed during the pandemic because he only was selling alcohol. And when they said in order to be open, they had to get a food license. Right. And they came in and contacted me to get the food license. And that's exactly what we did. And he's done it by the book. We've got the license. He's trained all of his managers, all of his food handlers. And again, full compliance, and I'm proud to call him my client.
Also, we made some good alliances with a lot of people from the state of Florida.
Yes.
That helped us plenty. And
yes.
these people are definitely in our corner. So
yes.
when push comes to shove, they're going to shove with us. So it's just a matter of time. We didn't have these people, we'd have been in a hell of a situation because they told us how to get open. And,
yes.
they was very straight to the point. What's the gentleman, Halsey
Bashir, Secretary Halsey Bashir is the Secretary of Division of Business and Professional Regulation. And he came down here to Key West, met with the bar owners, and that's exactly what the meeting was about, what we needed to do to get them open, and went to work and made that happen. Along with that, we were able at that meeting to get the bars to be able to sell the mixed drinks right now. The mixed
and
drinks
that's pretty much on the spot.
Right.
They had to take a paper, and then you got to, red tape. That was
right. They wouldn't.
3 o'clock. They said you could do it.
Exactly.
3:01. We was rocking and rolling.
Exactly. That was a great thing, and it's really made. I've had clients tell me that. I mean, that has made a huge difference in their business between the package sales and the mixed drinks to go. Yes. And again, it's the responsible service of alcohol. So,
throw the hearts up there if you like what you see. Give me some shout outs on some bars that you like. What's your favorite bar all throughout the Keys? And then I'm going to pick some people in here. Mike knows you're up next. So,
Louie, I'm wearing some of my clients' masks here. Shout out to Paul Menta, the Key West First Legal Rum Distillery.
Very good
Long-time friend of mine, exactly. And, it's really interesting, too, because every place is different. And whether it's a distillery or a bar, a restaurant, a hotel, and the different types of licenses and so on.
Point of differentiation.
I'm also wearing under here, I change these out and around here. I've got Tattoos and Scars, another one of my favorites here. Shout out to Casey. He does it right. They actually do all of their training with me online, the alcohol compliance. And once a year, I do an on-site meeting for them. Or if he feels he needs a little bit more training, I go in and do an on-site. But they work really well. They find the online alcohol works really good for them.
I don't have a lot of bar masks, but I got the Conks,
cool.
11 state championship. Then I got commissioners going out here. I got judges going out here. We try to make sure we keep it. So we got a whole bunch of masks out here too. But at the end of the day, when you call the roll, you need 4 votes in order to get something done. And like I used to love Miami Beach, now not so much because Miami Beach I think is very tough on what they're doing down there, and I think they pick different times to do different stuff. So I'm for the One Human Family. In case we forgot what the One Human Family looked like, Mike Knowles give me this to make sure, but we got to get back to this. But Wynwood now I love, so it's all love there. Let me see. We'll make sure I got everything. Okay, Red Tater, owner or security needs to have access to a firearm and be protected by the law. Well, we're gonna send that right up the pipeline and see what happens.
I'm gonna get you an answer from John if he's got any additional information on that. And
JJ says the electric boogaloo. Y'all don't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
Throw the hearts up. Thank you all for all the love. Orion Roberts, a lot of good shows this week. Great people sharing good stuff. Yep, that's what we do. This is our job. First of all, let me be clear. We're not held accountable to any type of restrictions that we have. So we're like Oprah Winfrey, own network. Puff Daddy got his own network. We got our own network out here. Nobody can tell us what to say. We won't be silent, and we'll say like what we believe in, and that's how we keep it along. Mike knows, correct me if I'm wrong. 194 in the game. Right. 194, first podcast off the gate, and we do it consistent Monday to Friday at 6:45. Aldo Hamilton, Aldo the sniper. We the people, we the law. Okay. Never make it personal. Stay calm, cool. Heads think strategic to keep the situation cool. Yes. Bourbon Street. How about that?
There we go.
Jim Gillerin.
Yeah, I was just going to say, here's my mask from Jim. He gave me this one to wear. I've got 801, bourbon. And again, there's another one. We got him a food license during the pandemic, and I did an on-site alcohol compliance and food handler class. They do it on a regular basis. They just completed their next round of updates, full compliance. They're doing it right. Picked up Aqua with Michael Ingram as
Yeah,
well.
Aqua's good, yeah.
Shout out to Chris Schultz. He just
Chris
gave
Schultz
me all
is
of
no
his.
joke.
He's the good
Chris
guy,
Schultz
great
is
guy.
on top of the game.
Very, very professional.
Now I'm glad
business,
that we're
yes.
talking about all of y'all, because you wasn't at the meeting. You know, I say what people won't say, and I ain't scared to hurt feelings. So what I told our people, you need to start going to meetings. You guys set your own schedule, you bosses. Not only do you need to come to meetings, you need to have your employees come to meetings, because this will make the difference. Now, if you want to go where you came from, then you don't come to meetings, because this will what happen, because we need to get momentum going. I'm also going to put you on something here that me and you talk about. We do it blood raw here. SIN, Service Industry Committee that we're going to do. And then what I want to do is have a panel of 7 and basically have different get-togethers to basically get people registered to vote, you know, talk about what's going on in the city,
yes.
how we're helpful for the service industry, SIN, S-I-N, and then basically, you know, people want to come down, but they don't want to be all business, so then we're going to put spreads. You know, first we talk about the business, then after you could do a little bit of drinking, we'll put food out, and we want people to come. We just do it at different establishments. So then that when we have 4,820 votes that or push a button and they hit you 4,820, then you're going to learn to respect them people on that. And just like you pay attention to the other people that have a block, then you have a block also, but our voices at least on the table. So me and Joe, you have Sandbar?
Yes, I sure do. In fact, Joe was at hi Joe, if you're watching.
Yeah.
He was at my food manager class today. So
nice.
I sure do. In fact, you originally gave me that contact too. So yes.
How about the good old green room next door?
I do some work with them, yes.
Yeah, nice.
Yes.
Okay, Red Tater. Rick's when Adrian is on a roll and smoking tuna, watching Caffeine Carl with Zach. Okay, so yeah, that's awesome.
A long time, absolutely. Shout out to Charlie Bauer there.
Jane says Cowboy Bills, so no more Cowboy Bills. Stay linked for Old Town Rodeo. We'll go into that another time. Isabel, what's going on? She says much love, Louie C. Rock. Who is Michael Knowles? What you got on that side?
I got Diane Elwood Larkin.
Okay.
I got Richard Guzman.
Guzman is strong. Guzman, thank you for contributing to Michael Knowles Fund on the GoFundMe. We seen you on there, Mike. That man took care. I told you that man is real.
Yep. We got first name Paul with the I don't know the last name. But
Mr. Paul, how you doing?
All right. We got let me speed up. Kyla Everett.
Nice.
We got O.T. Thurston.
Orion, check in with me. Orion, I want to make sure you're healthy and everything's good up there in Minnesota. So I need a phone call here. I'll be off in about 15 minutes.
William Gonzalez.
Willie Gonzalez, I just want to make sure nothing has changed. In Marathon, on New Year's Eve, on Thursday the 31st, you could party to 4 o'clock in the morning. Has Mayor Gonzalez changed that? Has there been any talk about that? Or can you turn up? Because, you know, I might have to pull up the marathon, get out of the city, pull up out there. So I just want to make sure. I'm asking anybody out there that come from any county, Stock Island or any jurisdiction, I want to make sure we still at 4 o'clock. So correct me if I'm wrong, Spring, Stock Island going north, you could drink to 4 o'clock straight up, all the way for New Year's Eve weekend.
To my knowledge.
And in the city, you have to shut down.
Yep.
No, you can't. You might drink at the house, but you got to be home at 10. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. Who you got, Mike Knowles?
Misty Arnold.
How you doing, Misty?
We got
Thank you for tuning in, everyone. This is great.
Yeah. Joel
I'm sorry
Rivera.
we couldn't get that watch party going on here, but we got it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Who else you got?
Joel Rivera.
When people at Stock Island start coming in, it's real wild.
Paul J. Mentor.
Joe, any
Hi,
plans?
Paul.
Any plans out there for the Stock Island? Are y'all turning up? You staying home? What y'all doing out there on the rock? Because I'm getting they might have a comp. They might have a comp drop at Stock Island. That's reports coming. I don't know. So
We got Violetta Blanco.
got you.
Michael Abreu.
A brew straight another Stock Island. A brew stay drinking. It don't have to be New Year's Eve. He stay drinking on the daily. My man.
And it look like that's
Okay.
gonna be it right
So
now.
here's the $1 billion question, and we're gonna keep it blood raw today. Thank you, all love here. Oh look, can you read that one?
Mary Ellen's, yes.
Yeah,
I had such a great week of training, and I trained their entire properties, the 3 locations from Mary Ellen's and General Horseplay and the Key West Tiki Bar, and it was such a pleasure. Chris has such a professional group, and they do it right. Both alcohol compliance, food training. He had the rest of his food managers come today to the class. Everybody's in full compliance. They're doing it.
And my job is I connect the dots, so I put everybody together. And I talked to Chris, and he gave me a couple of good suggestions, and I took it to the city when I was on the podium, and I gave him a footnote to basically, thanking him for that. That man is brilliant. But yes, here's the thing: we need to communicate. So I think with this SIN organization, I think this will do it because people, and everybody loves free drinks and free food, and then we talk a little bit of business, and people get to mingle, whatever, because we kind of been left out in the dark. So here,
Louie, whatever I can do to help, sign me up. I want to contribute.
So here it is right now, and I'm open for suggestions. Do you think it's going to be difficult to disperse a crowd on New Year's Eve at 10 o'clock on Duval Street? Are we going to be able to do that? Because the more I think about it, I think it's going to be an issue. What do you think from being around here so many years?
That's a great question, Louie. Do I think it's going to be difficult? I do. I really do think it's going to be difficult. It's very challenging, and I hope for the best. We want everyone to, be safe, but I don't think a lot of people are, expecting that.
Right.
Just a lot of things. Exactly. I think there could be some problems. And
I think that if I was on the watch, I'm not going to have an escalation of a problem in the middle of New Year's Eve. So if there's not a compliance, I don't think we're going to be able to basically just move thousands of people on the street. And originally, with the 1 o'clock, the chief had said that it's more difficult to remove people, and so did the Code Enforcement Young, which I initially agreed with that. I don't blame them because they have to do a job, and they're told what to do. If they don't do it, they don't have a job. Right. So bottom line, and who wants to be in that mess? I think they should be their salary should be doubled immediately. I would be like if I was in sports. They said, well, I ain't signed. Where's my job description? Can you give me the paper? I don't have nothing that says the police, or it's a different situation. But at Code Enforcement, we had several people not with Code Enforcement anymore. They just didn't want to have. They said they didn't sign up for that. So my thing is, at 10 o'clock, people just getting to the street. Whether if you let them celebrate at midnight, some of those people were going to go, back to, their hotels, and some locals were going to come back home. And obviously, we're not going to have a whole bunch of locals come down this year like you usually would with the comp drop. So I'm hoping that we really come up with a better plan, because right now the plan that we have, I hate to say this, I think we setting these people up for failure, and God forbid we have a major incident on Duval Street. We just can't have that. But I don't think it's our intention to really be rough and move people off the street by force. I don't think we're going to do that. I'm not really even sure, how to say that. I mean, and I think there, has the potential to be problems. And again, the responsible service of alcohol, people might start drinking early if they think they have to leave early. And I don't think that that's the answer. The best thing we can do is be washing our hands, and, you can be inside. And ain't nothing changed.
Exactly. Yeah. And just because you're, inside doesn't, change that fact. I mean, you still got to wash your hands and do all those other right things. And I just don't think that getting people off the street so early is.
Janine Green, back in business, huh?
Yeah.
Back in business. Girl, you're going to have to get straight now. Make sure you walk a fine line. Thank you for joining the podcast. JJ says, good luck with that. He also says all the news channels are going to be there to televise the chaos. Hoping there's no chaos, but I can't guarantee. Right. They know the crowds are coming, can't mass arrest. How they do that? I don't know, but already my people in Channel 10 to put me on and tell me, hey, we need reports from down there because we got a whole crew, and we want to make sure, we put this on TV. This ain't, 1972. This go national quick. So what I advise, in my opinion, of dealing with thousands of people, I didn't want a curfew at all. So you ain't never gonna see me. I don't vote for 1 o'clock, 2, 3. I vote for no curfew. I think curfews actually add to the problem. So I don't do compromises on curfews, none whatsoever. However, I do respect the law. They have a curfew in place, and I think that if we don't handle that with gloves off and very delicate, I think we're going to have major problems. It only takes one situation to spiral out of control, whatever. And remember, this ain't just, Key West Conks hanging out and my homie Billy and Sally. We could control these people. I'll be damned if we would control the people that come from out of town. And this is another thing.
Really
so hotel occupancy has dropped and there have been some cancellations. However, those hotels are refilled up and the prices have adjusted. So now you're going to have other people coming in, mixing with all types of different people. So I'm going to call this, we're heading for the perfect storm. Like the movie, you watch A Perfect Storm, they told you we got three massive weather patterns coming from A, B, and C. And where the problem is because of the 6-minute distance and jurisdiction that you could really be 6 minutes away. This is what causes the problem. Now, let's say that the whole thing was done. Then they'll give it a fair chance. But I don't think this is gonna work because basically 6 minutes away, you could drink to 4 o'clock in the morning. And then where I'm really scared, I don't know any book, and if any police chiefs are tuning in, if any people from the state troopers are tuning in, if any Florida Department of Law is tuning in, if the Secret Service is tuning in, I don't see nothing in no book that tells me that I want to take thousands of people and say, listen, y'all have to leave from here and go home, and put them in a transit situation throughout the city at the same damn time. I don't understand that. I'm really worried. I believe that if you put people, because it's not, some people are not going to drive, right? But they're going to take Uber and all. How about if we have two DUIs straight up right at the same time, one in point A, point B? We tied up every resource we got in the city. So I'm hoping that this, I'm going to hope for the best, prepare for the worst, but I'm very nervous.
I'm nervous too. And it's really affecting businesses. It just is. This is their livelihood and how they survive, and it's affecting the workers, and that might be the difference of whether they can pay their rent, put food on the table, and they, really need to be working.
I would say this decision is an injustice, and I'll say this again, I don't have any personal vendettas or problem with anybody in the diocese, including the mayor. I just want to get back to normal and be left alone. And I'm going to have to disagree and scream about it that I don't think this is a bad plan. But I got faith in our city manager, Velez, and Chief Brandon Burr, because they're the ones who are going to be on the street. The people make decisions. They ain't going to be nowhere around downtown. However, if something break down there, you're going to get a phone call. You're going to have to wake up and go down and say, man, we got a hell of a problem. Hopefully, don't start no stuff. It won't be no stuff. It'll be good. Right. We're going to think positive, and we're heading in a good direction for 2020.
Right.
You see
we
it
have
going.
To look forward. We really do. And better times to come, and just better planning and finding ways to coexisting with all of this going on, and just the personal hygiene in place, and
Absolutely.
The right things to do, the social distancing, and do our part, and stay healthy.
We all the way live tonight. Wild 92.7. Y'all can watch on the iHeartRadio app everywhere. DJ Slice out of Philadelphia going in. We got DOS in the bass mix from New York City going in. We got Felix Sama, that man's a killer, going in on the hip hop. We got CO Piscopo in the 305 Dade County going in. And guess what? We got to take care of the kids. Louie C love the kids. So we on next Thursday show, we're going to go 9/11 because Santa's traveling. So that's our show where they locate Santa. So we're going to come after. But guess what? Guess who on the radio on Thursday, 9/11? Me. Ain't no curfew at the radio station. ain't nothing. No, I'm actually on 7 to 9 regular on New Year's Eve. But hey, we're gonna get a whole bunch of phone calls of what's going on, and we're just gonna basically tell you what it is, and that's what has been laid down right now. Unless that changes, that's what's in the books.
Right now it's what we're dealt with. You gotta play the hand you're dealt. We gotta figure this out, and again, just hoping for the best. And again, Louie, I'm just so proud that all of the clients that I do business with, they're in those classes, they're doing the right thing. And, I just think it's so unfair that they get closed down when they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And it's really tough on them, and they're doing everything they can, from the workers to the owners, to make it right. And, this happens. And
spring is very nice. I'll give it to y'all blood raw. Selective enforcement. Selective picking one segment of a community and go ahead and not putting the whole rules for everybody. Where I come from, you have one thing. Now, if you shut the whole city, shut the whole thing down, shut everything down, business, construction, whatever it is, shut it down. But the reality is nobody is putting a curfew on their paychecks, and they're not giving these people any money, and we had enough, so we got to stand up. And also, let your commissioners know how you feel. Call the mayor's office, just let it be known how you feel. Who is Michael Knowles?
Okay, I got James Romero. He said Stock Island gonna be lit.
Oh no, we stay lit. This is
Well, what can I say? When I get off, I'm going over there. So
Stock Island, the future y'all wanted. Now you got it.
Yeah, we got Janine Green. She says keep up the good work.
Over here, I got James says only forces people to move to house parties, which is more riskier. Straight up COVID.
It can happen. Absolutely.
Blood raw. This is a super spreader decision, not event decision, because you move people inside. But I want to stay positive. I don't know what else we could do. Work that Beat Street music in the mix. Yes. Craftwork numbers. Thank you for all the love for hip hop. Mike knows who else you got over there.
Okay, let me see what we got here. I think you named it all. No, Shauna Thompson Ashford.
Shauna, Michigan, what's the temperature check? If you like the show, you like spring rice right now, throw the hearts all the way up like Fat Joe. I'll fill it on the screen.
Can I give you a couple of my New Year's and this time of year holiday tips for the responsible service of alcohol that I teach in my classes?
Let's do it.
One thing is alcohol is a diuretic. It takes water out of your system. I recommend always in my classes, part of the responsible service of alcohol, drinking water, stay hydrated, but serving water to your customers. It slows their consumption rate down. You have to buy some time before you bring another round of drinks to the table and things like that. And just for your own information, if you're drinking and you stay hydrated, you drink water, you're probably not going to have nearly the hangover as if your body's dehydrated. Absolutely. Another thing is when we consume alcohol, it goes down our stomach and into our esophagus, into our stomach. From the stomach, it passes through your pyloric valve into the small intestine. Everyone has a pyloric valve, little trap door down there.
Right.
And what happens is when you drink carbonation, like Coca-Cola, 7-Up, even champagne, the gas in that beverage can actually put pressure on your pyloric valve, and it can push that alcohol into your bloodstream faster.
So it's bad when I drink my Pepsis?
It could affect you faster, exactly. I recommend food. And this was a good thing that a lot of these restaurants that didn't have food licenses that they now do. It's just part of the responsible service of alcohol. Now's the time to eat those cheeseburgers and hamburgers and chicken wings and eat some, a hearty meal, and it's going to slow down. Food does not soak up the alcohol, but it slows the rate of absorption of alcohol in the bloodstream.
Sometimes I be with people that turn up upside down, flips the whole 9 yards, right? So the other night, I can't go into details on the podcast, but what happened was I ain't touched the bed until 4:45. So what had happened was it was turned up. So I said, no, you got to hit the Denny's. And you get something in your stomach, and it'll be good to absorb the alcohol. But that's the best thing you could do, because if you're going to feel it tomorrow. You better eat something today or whatever.
Now, the food doesn't soak up the alcohol, though. It causes your valve to stay closed, so it slows the rate of absorption, and it coats your stomach the time that it takes to order the food and eat the food, and it will make you feel better. But the only thing that soaks up, absolutely, eat food when you're consuming alcohol. Absolutely.
Also, there's big timers down here, so a lot of y'all don't know that there's different type of liquor license, right? So the going rate for the main liquor license, which is what now?
It's a quota license. It's called the quota license.
600,000, not 60,000. 600,000. So can you explain the different type of licenses as we taking on up?
Sure. There's lots. There's beer and wine, beer, wine, and distilled spirits, and that quota license is based on population. By the way, Monroe County was known as a 5 COP consumption on premises, and then a lot of places we're seeing that the number changed as a 6 COP. And now they're going to be issued again as a 5 COP. And a lot of my clients will call and say, why is the number changed?
Yeah, why is
It's
that?
Based on population.
Right.
And since the numbers have increased, you'll start seeing when they reissue license for 2021, they've gone back to a 5 COP. So
does that mean we lost population or we gained?
no, we gained some population.
We did?
So
Oh, that's
therefore,
good, That's
and it's in 25,000 increments. Like the 8 is the lowest COP out there. But anyways, back to the quota license based on population. But we just don't have the growth here that's in the other parts of the state, and that's why you can only buy one of those existing license
So can you
for a quota
explain?
license.
Can you explain to them you can't buy it from the state? You got to buy it from an individual.
Right, from an
because of
individual.
quota?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And it's not like it's attached to the food. You don't have to have food sales with that. There's you've got the package sales to go under normal times. Package sales to go is a very valuable license.
Right.
There's another type of license called the SFS license, Special Food Service License. It used to be called an SRX license. They just changed the terminology of it. One of the other things, though, that did change with that statute is you have to have 2,500 square feet and a minimum of 150 seats.
Absolutely.
And those 150 seats used to have to be all under one roof.
Right.
And now they're allowing those 150 seats to be dispersed throughout the premises. So if you had like an outside seating area by your pool or something, those seats could count towards that requirement. You always have to do on that type of license, though, a minimum of 51% food to 49% alcohol. And the state checks that, they regulate that.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
On license. So,
Okay.
have you ever licensed a Pujo?
I personally have not licensed a pool
Okay.
hall.
Now this might be a hard curveball from the Hog side. But I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that if you have a pool hall with 12 lanes, you therefore qualify for a state license. This is something new to me that a couple years ago. Somebody, have you ever heard that? That if you have 12 lanes bowling alley, instead of getting the quota, you can qualify for the state license for a provision that says by having 12 lanes.
It's possible. This is where John Zabo, if you're watching, I need him. I would make a phone call to him and consult with him. I will say this. We have recently licensed some clubs and resorts, and they qualify. One of them is like an amusement park. There's different types of licenses out there. Another one, it is the historic quota license.
Right.
And a couple properties here that I've licensed with that historic license. Right. So there are some variations. The one that you're specifically talking about, Louie, I'm being honest, I am not familiar with that one. Okay. So
I stay ahead of the curve.
I love it. I have not licensed one of those, but it's certainly that we could look into and make.
Now I need you to tell them specifically how to get in contact with you, and then I'm gonna do my sponsors, and then we're gonna be out of here. You did a great show. I think this is a great information.
Thank you.
And I appreciate y'all staying with us. I know it was here long, but there's a lot of information. Me and Spring could do 5 shows like this, but all we're trying to do is help people and keep people alive. And this is great when you have professionals. Because you got to get the best people around you.
I would love to be on your show anytime, Louie. Thank you for having me.
Where can they find you specifically?
The best way is my phone, and I pride myself. Spring Training is Spring Rice. I'm here. I'm working my business 24/7. I'm here for the clients. They know I'm a phone call away. They can call me anytime that they have questions, no matter the hour of the day. I'll take their phone call if I'm available. Best way is my phone, 305-509-1916. Key West number, I've had that number since 1999. 305-509-1916. They can also send me an email at spring at springtrainingcorp.com. spring@springtrainingcorp.com. You can also take a look at my website, springtraining.online.
Nice.
Give me a call. I look forward to hearing from you. I'll
comments.
answer any questions. Thank you.
When you get the show, you can put this on comments there so people could reach out to you.
Yes.
Thank you, Florida Keys Injury Lawyers, Accident Lawyers in the Keys. Go to FloridaKeysInjury.com. Locals taking care of locals at 302 Southern Street. Dr. B, tomorrow he's got a guest that going to explain how he was on the deathbed and came back with the ivermectin. So tune in, be here early. We got a whole studio full of people. We just going to start booking, charging to get in the studio, boy. It's serious. Advanced Urgent Care, Key West Marathon, and Key Largo now offering affordable health care with KeysCares.com, only $89. Test and treat with ivermectin. And Naughty Vapes. Rebecca, what is going on? Girl, Debbie, what is going on? The #1 vape shop in Key West, right across the street from the fire department. Always take care of locals and military. Huge inventory just came in. Make sure you go to their Facebook page under Naughty Babes. So right now we live. Some of y'all don't know how we do it. We live on the radio. We got the podcast. We'll be on to 9 o'clock. Tune in on iHeartRadio. And if you're gonna be in the bar business and the restaurant business, you might as well be on top of the game. Make sure you check out spring training, because she don't play around that training. She gonna make you, she nice and all, but when she leaning to you about that training, she will. Thank you so much.
We are in compliance by the book. Yes.